Hello there. Alright, so I recently adopted this Mirai Classic, and she was a great price, but sadly she did not come with her wig. So since she didn't come with the wig, I was really inspired to kind of try and recreate her original one, the original wig, the long wig that Mirai was released with. And it's just like a long wig that has two little braids on the side. It's her original wig, super cute. I'm obsessed with it, and it sells for pretty high, and it's very hard to come by. So I'm kind of like wanted to give it a try and see how it would come out. So before we start, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Mirai67i on Instagram for allowing me to show you guys their pictures that they have of their Mirai, who in their pictures they show very well how the wig looks, and they're amazing shots and have helped me so much as a reference when going about trying to figure out how the wig looks and is made, since I don't own it. So big shout out to them. These are the pictures right here popping up. Please check them out and go show them some love for helping us out immensely with this video. So thank you so much. Alright, so to get started, all I really did was straighten out the hair wefts since they were already very wavy and that would have been super difficult to work with, prepared my needle and thread, and did a wig cap off cam. If you'd like to know how to do that, I will card a video up above for my wig cap video so you can check it out and go ahead and give it a try yourself. Alright, so when I start my wigs, I really like to start the weft at the front or at the back as a marker of where the back or the front is, because once you finish, it's very hard to tell where the where the front and the back are, especially if your wig shifts around or you take it off or it falls off for whatever reason. So do keep that in mind. Besides that, it's just the regular wig making where we do the blanket stitch, make a stitch, run the needle through that little loop, and then pull, and it holds the wig in place and you're all set. Just do a little circular motion. You could do layers of circles and work your way up the head, or you could just do like a huge little swirl that slowly kind of works its way up. So it's whatever you find easier to work with, and you know, it always produces like a good look, so don't worry about how the end result will look. They don't vary too much. So once you get to this point, it's time to work on the whirl. I do suggest you leave a good amount of space for it. That way it's not too thin and it gives it the fullness it needs to really cover that little spot at the top. So in order to do this, I just take a little piece of the weft and kind of just use that to measure out the circle of the little bald spot circle at the top. And based on that, I'll start rolling it up and into a little circular kind of swirl. And here I am right here taking my weft and starting to kind of do the stitches into the swirl. And as you make a little turn into the swirl on the weft, add a stitch and then turn it again, add a stitch, and until you make like a little circular swirl that is in the shape of your little bald spot. Marking it, and using the little weft at first to gauge like the measurement that you need for it is very important for it to fit. Otherwise, if it's too big, it'll kind of protrude out and it'll look wonky and the head will look like it has a little bump. And if it's too small, it won't be full enough to kind of really cover that spot and you'll be able to see through the wefts. So it's very important to make sure you do it right and stitch it tightly together, and just make sure it's very secure so it holds its place and it's strong and sturdy. And once you do that, you go ahead and attach it just like any other weft, but in this case, since it's so tightly spaced at this point, I like to kind of sew it into the lower weft, and that way they're very anchored together and there's very little room for anything to show or kind of peek through. Once I finished sewing, I went ahead and gave her a boil wash to really smoothen out all the fibers and get the hair ready for the styling and the trimming and all of that. And at this point, I'm starting to set aside all the different little pieces that I'm going to cut into the bangs. Just like the Sakura Kinomoto wig, she has the little side bangs and the straight across bangs at the front. However, for my Mirai, I kind of want the bangs to be a little longer than the original classic Mirai wig. Their techniques are way more advanced than mine, so props to them. I feel like I'd be risking a little too much, and if I gave it a try, I was a little scared, so I went ahead and did the longer ones. I also just really like the longer look. Honestly, it's more of my vibe, so it was like a win-win. Honestly, a win-win. So the one thing I did want to stay really close to Mirai's vibe is the bangs. I feel like the bangs really make the wig and really help identify if it's like a Mirai wig, So I really worked hard on that and took it slowly, and as you can see, I'm grabbing little bits and kind of going into it a little bit and then trimming and then doing all these things to just be very careful. But honestly, I really like the outcome. Right now they're sticking out a little bit and they look a little long, but with the next boil wash and once I kind of style them, they really settle into themselves and I really like how they look. For the side bangs, since I did want them a little longer, I kind of took a little rubber band to kind of hold them together evenly and then just worked my way through them with the razor comb. Alright, and now that we're all set with the cutting and everything, it's time for my favorite part, and that is the styling. Y'all know I love my mini hair straightener, and I am ready to jump in. Honestly, styling the wigs is my favorite part. It's so soothing and so satisfying to see how the hair kind of just falls and becomes everything you hope for, and I already said that before, but it's so true. Anyway, for this wig, all I kind of did was kind of curl the bangs inwards. Same thing with the front ones and the side ones. they both got that same treatment. However, now that I kind of started working with higher heat, I've stumbled into another problem, which was the hair losing its shape after straightening it due to it being hot. So to solve that, I kind of held its place sometimes while it was still hot and kind of just blew on it really quick. It would cause it to cool faster, and in doing so, it held its form. So quick tip for those of you who are doing that, be careful though, because the hair wefts hold very high heat. So I did kind of burn myself a little bit here and there, but nothing too serious. It was just like a oof, it's hot, like let it go. But it wasn't like ooh, like I'm burnt, like it's gonna swell up and leave like a scar. No, it was just like ow, like hot, don't touch. So please proceed with caution and just make sure you don't hurt yourself. And for the final touch, all we really need to do is add those two little braids that Mirai's iconic wig has. And I know that other one is a little chunkier than the one I'm working on now. Please, I don't want to hear it. I mean, go ahead, go off in the comments. I know, drag me. But I promise you I fixed it, and this is the end result. And this concludes our Mirai wig video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.